Welcome, this is Stefano and I'm about to show you how you can customize recipes in the TFC Reloaded mod pack by editing MineTweaker files. So the first thing you want to do is open the TFC Reloaded folder. To do this, you click on the image of the mod pack, then you click on this little icon here and open folder. This will open the folder where your Terrafirmacraft Reloaded mod pack is installed. Now from this point onward I will use VS Code, Visual Studio Code, to edit files. It is not strictly necessary, however I will use VS Code also to navigate the folders inside here, so if you don't have VS Code or something equivalent, you will have to find the files in the file explorer here. VS Code, by the way, it is free. You can look it on Google and download it for free for your operating system. Anyway, if you have VS Code or something similar, you can probably right click on an entire folder and click on Open with Code. This will open, as I just said, the entire folder for you to navigate and edit. Now the recipes in this mod pack, but also in many others, are customized by giving directions to a specific mod that is called Minetweaker. The files which contain these directions are in the scripts folder. So if you open this, you will see a bunch of different files. The mod author has organized these files based on the specific mod he's trying to customize recipes with. I'm gonna show you one real quick. This MineTweaker recipe maker.zs. These files, if you have ever done a little bit of programming, look like something like Java or JavaScript or something like that. If you don't know it, all the lines that have a double forward slash are called comments. They are commented out. It means these lines will not affect anything in game. They are meant for you to add some information inside a file. So for example, this line here has absolutely no effect because it starts with the double forward slash. So how do you read this? Every line does a thing, and if you read it, it should be pretty self-explanatory. Recipes.remove. And for example, if you look at this, you can probably also understand what is going to remove. Removing the recipes for the vanilla Minecraft arrow. Now this is a way that you can specify an item in Minecraft. But how you would know more about this? Well, really simple. I want to show you. If you Google MineTweaker 2, because this is version 2 that is used, you will find as first result the page in the FTB wiki. This has a lot of information. Specifically, it will tell you how removing recipes work, which is somewhat like we've just seen. As I said before, in here you specify an item ID, and an item ID might come in different forms. There's a numeric form, there's this colon notation, which helps specify, for example, an item of a specific mod, or also if an item or if a bunch of items share the same ID but are just variants of that ID, which is, for example, the case of the various colors of wood. So wood plank would be an ID, and the color would be specified by a number after the colon. In here explains also there's removing and there's adding. Now in Minecraft there's two kind of let's say vanilla recipes. the shaped and the shapeless. Shaped recipes require you to have a specific pattern, like in this example here, while shapeless just mean put this item anywhere in the crafting grid and you will get this. In Minetweaker, you can add recipes like that using this function, this method here. For example, recipes add shapeless. You first have to specify what you get as a result of the recipe, and then you need to specify the exact list of the items that you need to craft in order to get. In this example, to get 2 iron nuggets, you have to give me 1 for gold, as it is shown here. Now, these square brackets mean that this is a list or array. Arrays in a programming language are nothing more than a list of many things. This is a very simple list containing only 1 item. When you want to add a shaped recipe though, you actually need to use these lists, this array, to recreate the shape of this matrix here. I've drawn a small image in Paint to help you understand this. This is your crafting grid. If you look at your crafting grid as a series of rows, it has 3 rows, 1, 2 and 3. You can think of each row as a list of an item, in this case empty space, right? So the way you tell this to Minetweaker is having a first outmost list, which is a list of the rows. And the elements of this list are 3 lists, which are the first row, the second row, and the third row. And what you write inside this list are the IDs of the item that you want in the crafting grid. It's a little bit strange at first, probably, to understand, but for example, if you write it like this, like separating the rows, it should be pretty self-explanatory. So this is just a generic item, so I just wrote ID here. The important part now is to understand, where do I learn the ID of the object I want to use, of the item I want to use, and the other thing, how do I specify that I want an empty space in here? Null is the word that helps you. Oh my god, what's this? Mary has a little lamb. Can we skip this, please? Playlist. That's better. Okay, null. It's a pretty interesting thing. It is not an ID. It's just a word that means nothing in a programming language. So you will use this word null to say I want nothing in this position here. So we know how to structure our lists. We know how to say I want nothing in a position. We just need to find now the IDs of the items we want to appear in the recipe, right? So if we go back here, these are removed. Let's see if we can find a add recipe function. There we go. This is an add shapeless, so the most simple kind, which says I want to get 2 stone from ex nihilo, so stone ex nihilo times 2 by combining shapeless in the crafting grid to item rock. Kind of simple, pretty self-explanatory. Let's see if we find an example of shaped. There we go. So let's analyze this recipe here. If I put the rows one on top of each other like this, we should be able to recognize this. This is the brick stairs recipe. Bricks, 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 null, 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 null. It's a little bit difficult to see like this because of the length of the rows, but there you go, now you have the shape of the recipe. Let's undo this. We don't want to save this because I don't know if it will work. Maybe it will, but just to be sure, I haven't tested this, if you can put new lines inside the definition of a single recipe. But anyway, to be sure, let's put it back as it was. There we go. So now let's do an example. Let's go down here and we want to add our own thing. Our own thing, for example, is in this pack. It would be cool to have a recipe to turn. So let's say craft shapeless. This is just for us to know what we are doing. So this is a comment. This will have no effect. Craft shapeless 1 TFC bookshelf into a vanilla bookshelf. Okay, this will, for example, enable us to use the vanilla crafting table. So as we've seen before, we need to do recipes.add shapeless. Always be sure to have an opening and a closing parentheses and the semicolon then. Now in here we need to have here what we want to get, so this will be an item ID for, we don't know it yet, but we want the vanilla bookshelf, right? And in here we want to specify a list of items. It always has to be an array or list, and the elements of this would be, we don't know yet exactly what, but we want the TFC bookshelf, right? Now, finding this ID might be tricky. However, usually in a mod pack, you can find these IDs just by looking at the other files. And here, a program like VS Code helps you a lot, because using this function here, search, you can search in all the files in the mod pack. So I will assume that the ID for a bookshelf will have the word bookshelf in it. So if you write bookshelf, you will see all the files that contain the word bookshelf. Now what we want to find is the word bookshelf used as an item ID. Okay? Sure enough, this word is used in other recipe definitions in MineTweaker files. If we go to crafting custom items, you will probably not find this, because this I added myself, but for the sake of this example, let's remove this, otherwise it's cheating. This is the line we just added, that is found. This though, this is helpful. For example, this is the recipe of the Terrafirmacraft bookshelf that uses lumber and books. So we're pretty sure that this works, and we can copy this item ID here. Control C to copy. We now know the TFC bookshelf is called like this. Now we need to find the vanilla bookshelf. Now for a vanilla bookshelf, it's easier, I would say. We can simply Google it. Minecraft item ID bookshelf. This should be pretty easy. There we go. It's so easy that even Google knows it. And the item ID is this one. So there we go. This is your shapeless recipe for a vanilla bookshelf using a Terrafirmacraft bookshelf. Now, just for the sake of completeness with this example, let us say that we don't want exactly to do this, because this is too simple. And enchanting is a powerful feature and we want to make things a little bit more difficult for ourselves. So let's say we do it with a shaped recipe. We want to get a Minecraft bookshelf, but we want to use a shaped recipe. So in order to do this right, let's start by representing the 3 rows of items, stacked one on top of the other, like this. Let's say that we want to use, instead of 1 Terrafirmacraft bookshelf, we want to use 3 to make it more expensive. And we could do the upper row all empty, the bottom row all empty, and in the middle one we want to use 3 Terrafirmacraft bookshelf, just to make things more challenging for ourselves. There you go. Let's say that this is the finished product. Get 1 vanilla bookshelf using 3 TFC bookshelves in a row in the center of the crafting grid. There you go. I hope this helps. Have fun. Bye.